Trisha Paytas dropped a video on YouTube as a fishing expedition in order to find her biggest Reddit hater for an upcoming documentary. She was met with immediate suspicion, even though she assured everyone that everything was on the up and up. Sure, Trisha, and I was born yesterday. But seriously, folks, my name is Jem, and today we are going to take a deeper look into Trisha's supposed documentary and the mysterious man who's producing it. All right, Mr. Clum, Trisha Paytas is ready for her close-up. When the news first exploded that a man named Mike Clum was reaching out to multiple people across the internet to interview Trisha's biggest haters, everyone, and I mean everyone, did this with their eyes. We all had good reason to be skeptical. Taking away Trisha's violent behavior against her past and current partners, she is most known for trolling along these YouTube streets. I had a running theory one time that Trisha recorded her offensive videos and apology videos on the same day, but uploaded them a week apart. There were no limits to her trolldom. So Mike, seemingly coming out of nowhere, questioning people about Trisha didn't pass the sniff test. Especially when it was discovered that he was the CEO of a multi-million-dollar media agency, Clum Creatives. At that point, the narrative was simple. Trisha Paytas hired a media company to resurrect her dying channel. Mike is CEO of a successful video marketing agency. If you're looking to boost your online presence and meet his criteria, his company offers many services to help you reach your goals. However, if Mike was working for Trisha, anyone who participated would essentially be working for her as well. As President Bush once said,
"Fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, we can't get fooled again."
Now, as if Mike being head of a reputable business wasn't enough credibility to lure in Trisha's detractors, she took it upon herself to reassure the masses she did not pay Mike's company for their media services.
There is a production company based out of Ohio, and they contacted me, Mike Clum specifically. And I said, hey, I don't know where your documentary is going. I don't want to be involved in past drama. Now, the only thing I would like help with, investigative, if you will, is Reddit. He read it and he knew nothing about this, so he just started deep diving into it. He even posted on there, hey, I'm open. So he posted on there like, hey, so right away they start being like, oh my god, this is the private investigator. Oh my god, Trisha paid this person.
At that point, everyone's fishy detector pinged. Trisha for sure paid this agency for a redemption documentary since she couldn't get Shane Dawson to do it for free. Shane rather bore YouTube with his 84th conspiracy movie than make up with his former best friend on film. Ouch, Trisha. But here's the thing. Although the infamous YouTuber is known for her tall tales, I believed her when she said Mike reached out to her and she did not pay him for this project. To understand what's really going on here, we have to go back a couple of months to November 2022.
I had a really vicious hate subreddit dedicated to me. Today, the subreddit was taken down, which is really big. And I would report to Reddit every day. I don't know if I should thank Reddit. I mean, it took a long time, but I'm thankful that the Reddit is down. I'm thankful that Reddit did take something seriously if it's the copyright, because you know what? I do put a lot of work into my videos. I post a lot.
Here we see Trisha showing a resemblance of, dare I say, change? I took a mental note, even though I didn't do a video, that Trisha was able to handle a conflict without resorting to uploading a tearless cry on YouTube. Now, even though Trisha alleged a lot of things about the Trisha Land subreddit without any proof,
I had a really vicious hate subreddit dedicated to me. Vicious. Vile. Today, the subreddit was taken down. It really was just making fun of the way me, my husband, and my baby look. They would post Malibu, they would like blur out her face, but like make fun of my child. And of course they made up a lot of stuff too. Like they made up a ton of stuff. Up to like when I gave birth. I mean, they for so long were like, oh, she's not even pregnant. Like trying to like it was just making fun of our looks. But then they'd be like, oh, like you can't even afford to pay your property taxes. You guys, my property taxes, like this is how crazy. It's public record, whatever. And I'll tell you like a most recent example is they're so obsessive, right? They were posting like which hospital I gave birth, my doctor's information. They would see like they would zoom into like my ultrasounds. My property taxes due, the due date was November 1st. It's November 4th right now. We sent the check in, whatever. It obviously hasn't been processed yet. It was due November 1st. They looked up online, whatever. It's November 4th. They posted about it November 2nd. Like, pay your property taxes. Like, and like scary, honestly scary. Cause again, they were calling like my doctors and stuff like that. I was like, okay, like I do post my daughter online, but I do not consent for my daughter to be posted on like a hate Reddit. Like that's insane. It's like scary is what it is, because it's never ending. They were posting my like where my child would go to school. We're homeschooling our daughter, but like if y'all gonna be nasty and hateful, like y'all can do it individually on my videos, okay? You know what I mean? And I'll just block you. But you're not gonna do it here.
Trisha Land was ultimately taken down by Reddit for copyright infringement. Copyright infringement is a crime, and if Trisha, as the copyright holder, could prove that her videos were re-uploaded as is, she would have legal grounds for Reddit to take action or risk being taken to court.
Today, what is today's date? Today, November 4th, is like a day that I'm very grateful for. Rather than focus on negative, I always choose to focus on like the positive. I'm gonna start like waving my hair while I'm doing this because it's gonna take a while. Now, I am not one to gloat anymore. I think I used to gloat, but gloating can be kind of unbecoming. Whew, and I'm just so happy that this happened today. And like I said, I didn't know if I was gonna talk about it. I don't want to like gloat in it. In this moment, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I have peace of mind, and it feels like that I can breathe and be online and all of that. So, whew.
Now, I had no issues with Trisha doing her little victory lap after Trisha Land got shut down, because I could at least respect she handled her business under the radar and wasn't up to her old bag of tricks. I thought maybe Trisha has learned to stop handling her problems by crying on YouTube and instead solve her problems by using appropriate measures. Now, even though Trisha Land was shut down, a bunch of subreddits popped up in its place, like the Hydra. After November, December came and it was officially the 1-year anniversary since Trisha's last Cry Fest on YouTube. Y'all remember? After her wedding, Ethan and Ela of the H3 podcast shared their wedding pictures. And on a solo episode, Ethan went all the way in on Trisha.
I was on a Trisha Paytas embargo by Ela for the sake of her family attending the wedding. Well, that shit is over, and they're gone back to Israel.
Mask off.
I don't owe any shit to anybody.
Oh boy.
I already explained in another video how I thought Trisha put on one of her best performances. As she spoke about how distraught she felt, she cleverly had her infamous fridge in the background, a replica of the old H3 podcast couch behind her, and for a touch of good measure, she turned her hoodie inside out before she hit play. But to add insult to injury, because she thinks it's funny, she did this.
And it's never gonna end. In today's video, an anti-Semite. When you make those statements of being an anti-Semite.
Yes, Trisha was on a roll. She declared that it would be her last time crying on camera, and it was. Now, I must note that Trisha was pregnant for most of 2022, and as such, she didn't involve herself in any drama. And then, January 2023 came along.
Them to push it. It's all coming from this Reddit, Trishy Land Wifeys. It's all coming from them. The original Trishy Land Reddit was taken down because of copyright infringement. They were posting stolen content from me. They still do that to this day. They still post my not safe for work content for out of spite and to really just send hate and make fun of me and discredit the companies I work with. And
my spidey senses could tell something was off. At the very beginning, Trisha tipped off her hand.
Hey guys, what's up? I feel like I shouldn't even be making this video, like giving attention to this, but I'm kind of at my breaking point with Reddit, and there's really nothing that is being done about it.
She said she didn't want to draw attention to the subreddit by drawing attention to the subreddit.
Like I shouldn't even be making this video, like giving attention to this.
I wouldn't have even known it existed if not for Trisha going on YouTube and telling us all it existed. And just so you know, Trisha also went to Twitter to vent her frustrations. Again, and again, and again. Just because I chose to sound blah, 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 Trisha Land has taken down on Reddit, blah, 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 Trisha Land's to be created after ban evasion, blah, blah, blah. Not only is my revenge, blah, 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 blah. You know, okay, so just to show she was just going on and on and on Twitter about the same thing. Trisha, why are you telling us about this? Months ago, you were able to get Trishy Land shut down without any plea to the public. So why all the theatrics now? And all of this was unnecessary because look what she tweeted the next day. Reset day. So as you can see, by the next day, she was already in her peaceful state of mind. Yada, yada, yada. I guess by then she was able to rile up her Reddit enough so that she can go back to business as usual. Okay, let me jump ahead in the timeline to explain what might have really been going on around this time. Apparently, around the time Trisha drew attention to her subreddit on her YouTube channel and Twitter page was around the same time she convinced Mike Clum to change his documentary to Trisha versus Reddit. YouTuber Adam McIntyre had a theory.
I have really strong opinions and actually a little conspiracy theory on what I think is going on here. Now, I'm going to say that it's all speculation. I have no proof of it, but all I'm going to say is I genuinely, believe it, but that doesn't mean it's true. It's just kind of my delusions. I really have a strong conspiracy on what is going on here, and I think that Trisha is trying to fabricate drama in order to get attention, to make herself look more of a victim, because I believe there's something deeper going on behind the scenes in which Trisha wants the Reddit to be more aggressive towards her, so she can then prove that they're being really nasty towards her, so she's provoking them even more right now because they've been a little bit quiet recently. Because Trisha hasn't really been doing anything, so she's provoking them, saying the things that, she knows that she says they do, that they argue that they don't do, so she's provoking them to get them to, all these posts again, and I genuinely believe that behind the scenes, Trisha is probably working very close with Reddit to take down this Snark, and needs a little bit more push of them, doing more posts, so I think she's trying to provoke them, or I believe Trisha is probably working on something else to do with exposing the Reddit, and needs them to be as intense as possible right now.
Timeline fits. How could Trisha convince Mike Clum to do a video about Reddit drama if Trishy Land Wifeys was quiet? Trisha knew what to do to get her adversaries riled up enough for Mike to point his camera away from her controversies and onto theirs. Or did he? Back to January, okay? Because in January, nobody on YouTube was aware of what Trisha and Mike were planning. Then this happened on February 2nd, 2023. Boogie 2988. So, the documentarian at Mike Clum arrived yesterday. He filmed a huge interview, took me out to eat and filmed it too. Went with me to my sleep study. What other things would you like to see him do with me? Work out, go on a date, get a makeover, play magic, etc. Controversial YouTube fading star Boogie posted a tweet about an upcoming documentary produced by Mike Clum. He asked his audience for some ideas while sharing some of his own and even had Mike appear on one of his streams.
Either way, we're getting laid is the point that I'm
But
making.
this guy might be the most successful broke guy in the world.
Oh, there's probably like some movie stars that made like $1 million. Because you've seen, together, I earned like $1.2 million across 17 years.
Yeah.
17 years. That's like $50,000 a year.
Oh, okay, so you think there's people that are more...
There are people out there who got like $1 million paycheck all at once and blew it overnight.
But they're more successful than you? More...
That were more successful at one point.
okay.
Like Nick Cage, for example.
Nick
Cage
you
got...
think... Who is a higher net worth, you or Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Yeah. But at one point...
So we calculated your net worth is roughly $0.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a mortgage, and then you have about $50,000 of pointless shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have a bunch of cryptocurrency, which will, in my view, inevitably go to zero.
Yeah, right, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's all a big scam.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, with all that considered, your net worth is about zero.
Well, I never wanted... But yeah, technically I'm worth negative $150,000 because I owe that much on the house.
That's true. Yeah, because if you take crypto at zero, which I do,
You do,
frankly.
yeah. That I have literally no capital.
Yeah, you have no capital, and then 160,000. But then you have 50,000 of pointless shit that
Pointless
you could sell,
shit, yeah.
and then you could flip that. So you're about negative 100,000.
I was never going to tell you guys this, for the record. I had no intention of because I knew people were going to say it's like manipulative and
No,
shitty
this
and
is
stuff.
what you guys need to know: that this guy is fucked.
February 9th, 2023 was the last day of filming for Boogie. Boogie 2988, February 8th. So just a fair warning, we wrapped on this documentary today. I did a ton of embarrassing for it, and if he only uses that footage, I will look like a complete... Praying this wasn't meant to be a hit piece. And I find it interesting that Mike, CEO, was the one who did the filming. So, as we can tell, this project must be very important to Mike to film it himself and not have his employees do it for him. It seems as if Mike is branching out with a new endeavor involving documentaries. He has his own YouTube page that for now sits with 0 uploads. In the middle of February, news started to spread of Mike reaching out to YouTubers, Instagrammers, and Redditors for an interview about Trisha Paytas. In the middle of March, Instagrammer Spill Some Tea With Me shared some of the text communications Mike had. Hi there, love your page. My name is Mike Clum. I'm the CEO of a production company, and we're producing a documentary highlighting YouTube and creator drama, specifically around some of the creators you cover. I'm wondering if you'd be open to briefly participate in the film in a short interview. We would travel to you and make this a simple process. And happy to share more details. I was hoping to find a way to include you or someone from Trishyland in the documentary I'm producing about Trisha and Auntie fandoms. Hey guys, thanks for posting! If anyone wants to share their story in the documentary, feel free to DM me. We are filming all week. The project she is filming in April is something else. That's the project with Moses. People are getting confused about the film crew with Moses and Mike Clum's film crew. They happen to be 2 separate things. Some have asked if Mike reached out to me for a Trisha interview, and I was not contacted for this documentary. With everyone now talking about Mike and this mysterious documentary on Trisha, speculation started to cement that Trisha paid Mike to film her.
I was actually approached via email by Mike Clum maybe a month or two ago. And basically what this guy is saying that he's doing is a little bit different message based on what Spill Some Tea With Me posted and based on what I received. But basically what this gentleman is doing is saying that he works for a production company called Clum Creative. I guess he's the CEO, it sounds like it. They are working on a documentary about drama channels and the controversial people that we talk about. So in his email to me, he specifically said James Charles, Trisha Paytas, and Kanye West. It's specifically the three that he mentioned in the email to me. He's telling other people it's a documentary about Trishyland and drama channels and their subreddits on Reddit.
Now, I can totally see why people would be skeptical of Mike and think that if they agreed to be interviewed, they could be edited negatively. Reality TV has taught us all that producers can take footage and weave whatever tale they want. Look at this. I noticed that Mike Clum had a casting call for documentary series actor. He posted this on February 1st, 2023. Looking for someone to play a stylist and dating coach for the subject of a documentary. Will take about 3 hours. And we see here the actress would be filming in Arkansas. Who lives in Arkansas? Boogie. I wonder if Mike doesn't get enough people to reply to being interviewed. Would he go as far as to cast someone to play a Trishyland wifey Reddit user to spice things up? We wouldn't know the difference because it's an anonymous platform. The end of March, Trisha uploaded a video explaining what her documentary was really all about. And everything she said, to me, sounded like Mike approached her for the interview and not the other way around.
There is a production company based out of Ohio, and they contacted me, Mike Clum specifically. He has a whole production company. Oh, what are your ideas? He first approached me, full transparency, I wanted to do like squash the beef type documentary, like confronting everyone I've had beef with. And I'm like, that's just not the position I'm in right now. That's not in my headspace. I just needed help. And I said, hey, I don't know where your documentary is going. I don't want to be involved in past drama. I have nothing interesting going on in my life now. The only thing I would like help with, investigative, if you will, is Reddit. So he just started deep diving into it back in, I guess this was like February. I'm saying March, but back in like February, and started doing like this deep dive into it and really went all in with it. He even posted on there, hey, would love to get.
I really do think that this is a Mike production. The different text messages we see here that Mike sent out to people explains exactly how Trisha told her story. At first, he approached her with his concept of what he wanted the documentary to be about. She instead wanted the documentary to be about Reddit and changed his mind. So it makes sense that in future text messages, Mike changed the premise of what the interview would be about. I don't recall as our messages were deleted, but I was able to gain access to Trisha as the project ensued. So I'm not sure the exact timing of my messages. But yes, there will now feature original content with Trisha. That makes sense. Now, if Mike still intends to do the documentaries on James Charles and Ye.
So in his email to me, he specifically said James Charles, Trisha Paytas, and Kanye West.
And we already know he recorded with Boogie. These are all controversial people. There's no way I'll believe that Mike intends to put out favorable documentaries about James Charles and Ye on YouTube. Especially when videos calling out bad behavior usually have higher view counts than your run-of-the-mill fluff pieces. We see in this 2018 interview, Mike Clum knows a thing or two about gaining popularity on YouTube. This article is from, as you can see, 2018, but what he has to say is true. So here he writes, 7 ways to drive more traffic through YouTube. Identify a community. It's important to understand that YouTube is divided into a multitude of unique niches, content communities. Unless the content you're creating is something truly groundbreaking, you would likely need to insert yourself into an existing community in order to attract an audience. Now, this is exactly what Mike did. He inserted himself into the drama world, especially if he has Trisha and James Charles and Boogie all lined up. I think that Mike Clum is very clever and he knows exactly what he's doing and what he needs to do to attract an audience to his new YouTube page.
But what after that 30 days? What if you hear, oh, Boogie died of a fucking heart attack, fat as shit, fat as ever? How's it gonna make you feel?
Well,
I mean, it's gonna be good for your documentary.
Yeah, the video would get a lot of views.
The video will get a lot of views.
Honestly,
right?
at that point, once the video's up, well,
he can die in a fire. I don't give a fuck.
The worse that your life gets, the better that the documentary.
I call you up one day and I'm like,
I believe Mike, as the producer, will take a neutral stance when interviewing Trisha. So he needs to have other people around who don't like Trisha to offer the pushback. That's where the conflict has to be. Hopefully, those people who accepted Mike's offer mention the reason why they don't like Trisha has more to do with her alleged physical abuse, and not say they don't like her because she keeps a cluttered house.
You are 100% exactly how I expected.
and is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's just what it was.
Right? What were you expecting? An asshole? Were you expecting like a nice guy?
A self-deprecating, somewhat covert narcissist, jolly.
Oh, let me
bad
say that
guy.
for the haters, by the way. Let me say this.
Mike Clum, you're a pretty good piano player. But you should have stuck to playing the keyboard and not Trisha, because playing with her is a dangerous game. There's no winning with Trisha, and the potential for her to ruin your business with her baggage is not worth the risk if all you want is attention to your business. As they say, all money is not good money. The only professional I could see benefiting from having Trisha as a client is a defense attorney. What? Am I lying? Am I lying? Imagine if a lawyer represented Trisha and got her off on, her future charges. You can't tell me their business won't go up on a Tuesday. It would. Mike, listen to me. If Trisha hates you, she hates you. If Trisha likes you, she hates you. Again, there's no winning with her if she perceives you've wronged her in any way.
I watched this show and you are fake after we have these conversations. I will go on YouTube and I will talk about you so much and say how of an asshole you are. And if I watch this back, just know that I have avoided something on YouTube. Your Instagram will have to be shut down. Every boyfriend I've ever had has had to shut their Instagram down from the hate comments. Every single one of them.
I've said before, Trisha does this thing where she drops a nugget and adds her feelings later. You guys remember the candlestick story? I told it in another video, but let me just do a condensed version right now. When she was on that party bus, Trisha said she was sick.
I got sick after Disneyland. I threw up.
You did?
Yeah, you remember I was sick on the bus?
Okay, so.
And then I tried to hold it together because you were just talking to my mom and sister. And I was like, okay, this is my party. I should be involved.
Was it because of my pizza that made you sick?
I don't know if that's why. Maybe just all the stuff. You know what
Was it a curse? Was it the Domino's curse?
I don't think so. I think it was the noodles we ate.
They were.
I know. I was kind of miserable. I got sick. I told you I threw up after. I think I really from the sun and the eating. I was so sick all night.
We're on the party bus. And we all got our own pizzas. And I had 3 slices. I was full. Nobody else wanted it. So I started picking the cheese off. So anyway, you looked at it and you're like, that is so disgusting. I can't look at it. That's just the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really gross. I physically had to lay down after it.
And I said, Trisha, who are you to talk about gross things? You've shoved a candlestick up.
Uh-huh.
And then months later, after Frenemies ended, she made it clear she was sick because Ethan made her sick.
The first things that come to mind, obviously, are talking to my mom about my sexual assault on a trip from Disneyland. It was great until it wasn't great. And he said that to my mom on the bus, and then he brought it up again on the frenemies. But after he said the thing on the bus, I got really sick. I can't remember if they showed it in the Disneyland vlog, but I laid down on the bus for a good half hour up until we got to their house. I was so nauseous and so sick because my mother and we had a strain in our relationship when I was younger, around that time.
Look what already happened during filming, y'all.
So I definitely had a full-blown panic attack yesterday. Basically, this whole week I've been filming the documentary. I felt sick, but I didn't want to record myself in that state. Obviously, I didn't. They weren't even asking to, but I just was like, I just need a minute. I was trying to get myself together, and I put myself to sleep. My daughter needs me, right? So I went back because the reality TV show people were there at the same time. So Moses was talking to them, and showing them around the house and stuff to show them like filming. It was cold. I'm like, I don't want him to have to.
Oh yeah. I forgot to tell you guys. Moses is also shooting an Israeli reality show about his life in America. Ethan and Ela, didn't I tell y'all in my other video Moses wanted to be a star? Y'all were there, didn't I tell them? But I digress. I've said before, Trisha does this thing where she drops a nugget and adds her feelings later. Right now, she said she was sick because of postpartum during filming. This does not mean she won't add some more things after the documentary airs and she gets any type of backlash.
I also fear of this, if I'm being completely transparent. It's like, I don't know the angle at the end of the day. I don't know the angle, right? Like, it started out as one thing, which is just a documentary on me. And then it was like, oh, maybe we talk about beefs. And I was like, no, I don't want to, I don't want to go through that.
For another quick trip down memory lane, because I have time today, remember what happened when Trisha was interviewed for BuzzFeed? The interview went well, until she discovered that Gabby Hanna had already been interviewed. Like, even though she said she was mad for other reasons because she thinks Gabby's a stalker, I think she was only mad that Gabby got interviewed before her. Like, had she known Gabby was being interviewed for the magazine, she probably wouldn't have done it. It would be better for her to say Gabby was copying her than she was copying Gabby. Please take note that this was the last episode of Frenemies, and Trisha started the show in a bad mood because she had it out for the interviewer of BuzzFeed.
Fact check that.
Hold on.
No
Uncle Fester and Debbie. Well, hold on.
But with this BuzzFeed article, it really just triggered me again because this person that I let into my house and interview me, like, didn't tell me any of this stuff. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, then
That was
again,
so messed.
my whole interview was about mental health and like
Right.
all the stuff I'm dealing with that. And then also she was like congratulating me, oh, your house and your businesses and then all this. So it was like really great. And then when she asked the Gabby questions, especially when she went off record and it's like, okay, off record, she was like telling me stuff about Gabby. And then something just felt off. So the next morning, I had anxiety all night. The next morning, I was like, just don't mention Gabby in mine. I don't want to be mentioned in hers. And she wrote back, I won't mention you, but can I say you were declined to comment? And I was like, fine, that's fine. And then she put me in an article. I was like, this. Because, and I agreed to do it because it was about this BuzzFeed article that I was like, I trusted like this author that wrote an article about me. And I thought I guess BuzzFeed has a bad reputation already, which I didn't know. Everyone's like, they're kind of trash anyways. I guess they steal content from people and stuff. So
Essentially, Trisha's rage against Gabby was a contributing factor on her walking out of Frenemies. LOL. So in June 2021, Gabby's article came out on BuzzFeed. And then in August, Trisha's BuzzFeed article was finally published. And let's read what happened next. First of all, this journalist, her name is Sashi Cool. You remember that old song? Yo, let me know in the comments if you remember that song. Like, for real, who can hate on someone named Sashi Cool? Trisha Paytas, that's who. Don't piss off Trisha Paytas. For nearly 15 years, Trisha Paytas has been one of YouTube's most prolific and complicated creators. Now they say they are done trolling. Or are they? And if you go to the end, the last paragraph is where it all happens. Hannah came up in the course of our conversation, but Paytas asked that I keep those comments off the record in both this profile and the one I wrote for Hannah. I did. Ultimately, Paytas didn't even want their name to be mentioned anywhere near Hannah's, an impossible request. Paytas tweeted cropped portions of our emails that made it seem like I had agreed to keep them entirely out of the article, which I had not. For weeks, Paytas' most staunch supporters have been sending me doxing threats, suggestions myself demands that I be fired, racist jabs about my name and appearance, and suggestions that I could be sued for actually, I'm not sure what. My Instagram DMs, Twitter replies, and email inboxes are filled with them. Despite Paytas' fury over being associated with Hannah in any capacity, they did recently go on Tana Mojo's podcast Cancelled and once again publicly discussed Hannah and their ongoing feud. Okay, so then Sashi goes on to say that she contacted Trisha for a fact-checking process. And this is how Trisha responded to her. I have zero respect for you as a journalist after I asked you to omit me from anything Gabby related. Please kindly do not contact me again. Still, Sasha said she contacted again with more detailed questions because of fact-checking. So she has to do it as a journalist. And this is during the time when Trisha was still doing Enemies after her Frenemies podcast ended. And in it, this is what she said to Sasha. You conniving little... Whoa. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. Let me just start it over. Okay. You conniving little snake rat face. Trisha, you shocked me with that. Oh, she doesn't even stop. You disgusting little rat. You should not get to talk to another human being as long as you live. You are the bottom of the barrel scum pig of the universe. What? Poor Sashi. Sashi said that this was a stark different from the Paytas she met in May. No, it was the same Paytas. When you met Paytas, she was happy, and now this is her being mad. She gets vicious when she's mad. Okay, let me see if there's anything else to read. Oh, look. And then this article was done in 2021, and then Sasha asked her, do you ever think you're going to start trolling again? And she answers, I don't think I ever will. Okay, yeah, right, Trisha. All right, so that's that article. And now, we're here, back in 2023. Hey, there can be a chance that this upcoming documentary comes out and Trisha will praise it and think it's the best thing ever. But, if not, if this documentary comes out and they're saying it's going to come out around June, and Trisha does her Trisha thing, let this video stand as a witness so that future generations will never fall into her trap. Maybe by officially putting her pattern of behavior on blast might stop her from acting up if Mike's documentary isn't in her favor. She'll know we all aren't going to support her viciously harassing a professional just because he or she quoted something Trisha didn't like. As I was putting the finishing touches on this video, I refreshed Trishyland Wifeys to finish up some of this research and found that they have been officially banned for harassment. The news is just breaking and I have no other details, but Reddit must have been presented with enough evidence to concede that the subreddit broke company policy. Which means, one thing is for sure, the Trisha Reddit documentary will have a complete story arc. Trisha will feel vindicated, and maybe that alone might be enough to stop her from ranting all over the internet about Mike Clum.
Sammy in a
I'm really
car
just here to
freezing death.
exploit you for views.